Well, everyone, here we are. We finally made it. The long journey is near its completion. We are at the last, most recent entry into the American Pie franchise. That's right, the most recent American Pie movie, Girls' Rules, an attempt to resuscitate a very dead franchise. We did it. We worked our way through all the ups and downs, the highs and lows, the band camps, the beta houses, the naked miles, and the books of love, and even a reunion or two. Another unneeded, unasked for spin-off is where we land, rather than a nice, satisfying conclusion with the reunion. But this time, when we do it for the ladies. So let's get into American Pie Presents Girls' Rules. So, as usual, we always talk a little bit about the behind-the-scenes stuff for this, and I may have mentioned this before, but Mike Elliott is the director for this, and you may recognize him from such films as, Casper Meets Wendy, American Pie Presents Bandcamp, and Time Cop 2. So if his name doesn't sound familiar, it should, because he's actually one of the pioneer producers into the direct-to-video sequel market, which is why all the movies that I mentioned just now are direct-to-video sequels. So yeah, all those weird, unneeded spin-offs to other movies that you kind of liked, you can probably blame him for this. You may also be wondering after that, well, damn, did he direct anything? Yes, he did. I'm glad you asked. He directed Beethoven's Big Break, Blue Crush 2, and Scorpion King 4. Oh yeah, in case you didn't know, there are 4 Scorpion King movies. One of them has The Rock. I'll let you guess which one. So, who's writing this? As we know before, David H. Steinberg, who I've mentioned at least twice, returns in a writing credit, as well as Blaine Weaver. He actually has a lot of acting and short film credits. Specifically, he's the modern voice for Peter Pan from about 2001 to 2015. The guy has a fascinating background with his films. He's worked from movies as big as Return to Neverland to movies like Honey 2. Because that's the sequel that we all wanted to see. Anyway, let's get on with this pre-scripted recap and what's to offer with us within Girls' Rules. Our movie opens up with a very grown-up Madison Pettis. Wow. Making out with some random white dude that vaguely resembles my college RA. And the movie wastes no time, as less than a minute in, we get a slapped-on title card.
Get out of here, title card. Go suck some fish heads, why don't you?
Very rushed and lazy, but okay. Your movie. So, this young lady, clad in stereotypical Castiel-esque overcoat, is trying to sneak her way into her boyfriend's home to... What the fuck? Get her oyster shucked. What teenage girl in 2020 talks like that? Anyways, she gets caught in an atomic wedgie on the family's alarmingly high fence, and introducing Barry Bostwick? Like Rocky Horror Barry Bostwick. Maybe I need to give this movie a chance. Maybe it'll be better than I expect it to be. So the boy's mom is baking him a nice warm apple pie. No pun intended. As he prepares to take a trip to Michigan State, his new university. What the fuck? Chuck Norris? Alright, what is the likelihood that 2 completely unrelated people in Hollywood have damn near the exact same name? Alright, we're getting sidetracked already in the first less than 5 minutes of the movie. We gotta focus here. We're trying to focus on a teenage girl trying to lose her virginity to a boring white guy. Madison Pettis' character, Annie, manages to force her way in through sheer power of horny into Jason, her boyfriend's room. Looking like a hot mess the whole time. Meanwhile, downstairs, Jason's parents are actually so excited that he's heading off to college that they decide to surprise him with a pie and his grandparents. I think you can see where this is going to go. And honestly, I hate to say it, it's kind of funny and creative and insane as far as the opening gags go. You know, I'll say, if there's any takeaway from this, at least give the first 10 minutes a chance. I thought it was pretty funny, but who knows? Maybe my sense of humor is a little broad.
Oh, what is that? What? Sure, okay, yeah.
I gotta say, this opening did manage to give me a good idea as to why they cast Madison Pettis as Annie in this role. She has very good comedic timing. You know, she looks like she's honestly having fun with this character in this part. And it even made me feel for Annie a little bit, which is surprising for a fucking spin-off movie of American Pie. Smash cut from Annie, and now we meet Kayla, who apparently needs affirmations in order to make herself orgasm, played by Piper Curta. And oh shit! A black Asian couple! Wow! An interracial couple in American Pie. I mean, we've seen that before, but, you know, look at you, movie, being progressive. Trying to get your diversity points. Okay. So anyways, Kayla's a bitch, and she starts snooping through her boyfriend's shit, and she clearly has insecurity issues. So, moving on. The next one we meet is Michelle, played by Natasha Benham, who, going off her fucking expensive-ass dildo drawer. Like, side note, that's probably just a cool $1,000 worth of metal and silicone sitting in her drawer there. And the fact that, you know, she's a decathlon whiz, as shown by all her awards around the room, I'm gonna just go out there, go on a limb, and say that she's the super duper horny, super sex positive, fat, big girl friend with all the weird turn-ons and kinks and fantasies and shit. And nice try, movie, trying to get in my good graces by, you know, making this Michelle a poor man's version of Michelle from the movies. Well, she's not a poor man's Michelle Levinstein. She's more like a poor man's Michelle Buteau. Mind you, all I've seen from her so far is just a few text and her face, and I deduced her entire character and her role in the movie. But I gotta give her props. At least she masturbates to one of the attractive presidents.
Americans, ask not what your country can do for you.
Okay, so let's go on to the last girl. Our last main character is... oh, sweet, filthy fuck. Stephanie. Played by Lizzie Broadway, who already has my interest by giving us Chris Hansen light in The School Principal, and nothing to do at all with her extremely, creative outfit. Alright, so we already got her, you know, pulling to Chris Hansen. She's catching creepy predators. She has slick back hair, a confident attitude. I mean...
She's cool. She's hot. She's...
Never ever fuck with a stifler.
she's a stifler? Like, sexually harasses stranger Stifler. Like, jerks off and kills his grandma Stifler. Makes porn of stranger Stifler. That Stifler family? Okay, movie. I guess somebody out there heard my Stacy Stifler idea and ran with it. I'll be damned. But you know what? I gotta say, they did something actually interesting with a Stifler, other than Eric, for once. You get a gold star movie. I'm actually intrigued to see what happens with this character and where it goes. Please don't make me hate her, like the other ones. The girls are apparently friends, as we see them on someone's parents' motorboat, talking about Annie's sexual misadventures.
Call a dental dam! Why does no one know this? Okay, so you use a dental dam for safety, but you still fell out of a window, and you did not get laid! Yeah, I get it, I messed up. I'm sorry if I wanted my first time to be both safe and beautiful, okay?
As someone that only really learned about dental dams about 2 years after they lost their virginity and only saw one in person back in, like, 2019, sis, there's not a lot of people out there that are using them. Look, I'm just saying I like my burgers with the wrapper off. Maybe that's just me. But kudos on you, movie, to trying to teach people the perks of engaging in safe oral sex. They won't, but you know, the attempt is admired. Weird ADR aside, we find out that all these girls are supposed to be seniors in high school. Yep, doing that old thing again. Alright, let me get on my soapbox real quick. Now, I have to give credit to Kenny JD for pointing this out in her video about why she doesn't actually enjoy watching the show Euphoria on HBO. But I think it applies even more so to these movies because they've done it in about 5 of the 9 movies that they've made. Stop having story settings that heavily involve sex or super duper sexual activity that isn't for, education revolve solely around teenagers and having them be the main focus of the story. You can very easily do damn near the exact same thing, same story, similar setting, with just fucking college students. Just make an East Great Falls College. East Great Falls U. Shit. Just do it with adults. It feels so much less weird. There's plenty of people that lose their virginity well after high school. So when you're creating a TV show, or in this case, a series of movies that are geared towards adults, since it's rated R, and you're making us watch teens, even though teens shouldn't really be watching this, because, technically they're not allowed to, you're continuing to push this very weird and creepy visual of sexually promiscuous teens. And regardless of how realistic it may be, even if you're casting legal adults, it's still really, really fucking weird and kind of puts your audience of adult viewers in an uncomfortable position, because it seems like you're trying to make a legal workaround to producing CP, the things I can't say on YouTube, but you understand. So, soapbox done. Just want to get that out there. You can do these movies with college kids. In fact, you did one with college kids, and it worked out just on the same level as the rest of these pieces of shit. So just stop setting it in high school. You can do all the same awkward shit with college freshmen. Works perfectly fine. Let's get back to the movie, please. So our ethnically diverse leads, and Stephanie, are celebrating the annual back-to-school bash with the rest of their classmates with beer, boobs, and a bad reference to my last review, which you should watch. Kayla and her boyfriend are breaking up just as fast as we saw them come together. Because, understandably, Kayla seems a little fucking nuts.
Sweetie, you okay? Oh, that? Yeah. We just break up so that we can make up. It's just a little speed bump. Oh, you just want to get fucked up? Let's go. Oh, okay, whatever you want. It's concerning.
She is in pain. So Annie calls her boyfriend Jason vertically. We see it horizontally. Don't ask questions. We're barely 15 minutes into this fucking movie. And she's kind of sad that girls are pouring liquor into his mouth in the most accurate college dorm room that I've ever seen put to film. And she ends up relenting and going back to her friends and trying to drink the pain away. And if you ever seen anyone drink a brown like she does, they either have taste buds that don't exist, or they have a problem, and they're going through something.
My sex-starved boyfriend is surrounded by a bunch of college thoughts, and I'm the only 17-year-old virgin in history!
Bitch! Ooh, what man wrote this? I mean, I know what man, but what fucking man wrote this dumbass, weird-ass line? Look, is this a women's problem? Like, ladies, is all the ladies that watch my channel, all 4 of you, is it uncommon for you to lose your virginity after 7? Actually, statistically, I think it is. Well, it isn't a bad thing. We don't virgin shame over here on this YouTube channel. Do the thing when you're ready, kids. If there's any takeaway from this fucking goofy-ass review of this silly-ass movie.
I am learning that technology has given us incredible innovations in self-pleasure. And like, whatever you're into, external, internal, dildos, rabbits, wands, vibrators, remote control, butt plugs, anal beads, then wall balls, and wall balls. Oh yeah, I have 2 in right now. It is a very specific sensation. They're amazing. The knowledge that you have something in your vagina is very unsettling to me.
So how did certified freak 7 days a week Michelle over here afford any of that shit? Whose name is on the credit card of all these expensive-ass payments that she's making? So in a rather nice moment, the girls go around one another and discuss what they feel that they're missing in their love lives. Kayla needs someone more fast, loose, and rough. Stephanie needs more emotional connection. Annie needs her boyfriend's penis and attention. And Michelle...
Pretty simple. You need someone smart.
Yeah, you need someone who understands you. With, like, social consciousness, but also, like, integrity.
Yeah, like someone a little kinky.
I like it.
Hey, smart and kinky? Hey, okay. What are smart and kinky grown women at? I'm trying to see something. The titular girls' rules comes into play as we get them laid out in a way that feels natural, but also works as an effective callback to the original conversation had in the first pie. 1, set a goal for their romantic lives. 2, they support their fellow women. 3, they are all each other's accountability partners. And 4, the deadline is homecoming, aka reverse prom, aka it's just a fucking Sadie Hawkins dance. I don't know why they called it a Morp. It's a fucking Sadie Hawkins dance. So essentially, they have a month to get laid or masturbate trying. God damn, how much of this movie is there left? It's still like an hour. Okay. First of all, never in the history of high school have students seen 4 regular-ass looking students walk into line and stopped to gawk at them in their entirely non-coordinated outfits. And secondly, if you're in a group larger than 3 and walk in a straight line, fuck you! Taking up all the damn space of walking with their fucking existence. Ugh.
You're right. We've known these rats since elementary. You really think we go to school with the perfect guy and just haven't noticed? Oh, I think exactly that. Look, there's over 500 guys at East Great Falls.
Nah. Stop the movie. Who the fuck are these grown-ass adults in this school? This man is at least 32 with a fucking beard. That woman over there has got to be at least 27. And my man back here, why did they dress this man in this Urkel fit? I have so many questions about these fucking background actors. Was this just staff? Was this staff that they just hired, like the caterers and janitors and shit? So Michelle runs into a door because fat woman fall down equal funny, and Danny Trejo exits as the janitor, as we meet Grant, played by Darren Brandt, essentially playing the same character that he played in Never Have I Ever.
Is that a Benoit ball?
Yeah. 3-second rule.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you realize how fucking wet and loose she has to be for that shit to just fucking slide on out past her panties and onto the floor? That's fucking funny. So, Grant meets Kayla, and the two share a spiteful coffee. Steph, in a really dope callback, if I'm being honest, is apparently a lacrosse player, much like one of her older cousins. And lo and behold, look, Grant plays male lacrosse as well, as Steph knocks him right the fuck out from about 20 yards away with the ball. Nice throw. Michelle takes Annie to a sex shop to find her fuck flavor, and hello, who is this beautiful black stallion before me?
Poor thing. You're still allowing yourself to be clip-blocked by the patriarchy.
Ooh, never mind. I take it back. She's one of those. I don't know if I'm more bothered by the fact that there are real people that talk like this, or that 2 old white dudes in their 40s were able to capture the type of person so effortlessly in just a sentence. So it seems we're trying to discover what Annie likes in the bedroom, since for some young ladies, sexual exploration is very much a foreign experience for them. Actually, know a couple.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Most women orgasm through clitoral stimulation.
Actually, did you know that 75% of women never orgasm through intercourse alone? It's a fact.
Thanks, Google. Ma'am. Who asked? So after...
It's super weird, but strangely helpful when we just picked out a vibrating undergarment for me.
Literally that, Annie rushes home to try out her new toys. Turns out the weird sex shop lady moved in next door to Andy and her alarmingly attractive single father with her alarmingly attractive son, Grant.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
So Annie starts showing off the effect of her vibrating panties to her boyfriend over webcam, and this man lubes up his hands to masturbate with no headphones on and his roommate still in the fucking room behind him. This nigga's a psychopath.
I'm the new principal.
Huh. No way. You know what? Annie loves a surprise. We should go say hi to her.
Again, movie. Again, you're going to use the same setup for the same type of joke. Again, not 25 minutes apart. And you know what? The worst part about it is, it kind of works. Fucking again. They got me twice. You gotta see it to believe it. It's obviously not as strong as the first time it hits, but, you know, still effective. Like some vibrating panties. So Grant and his mom, Principal Ellen, have seemingly made the rounds, as we are now left with 4 weeks until the Morp. Stupid name. Kayla, the sociopath, uses Grant once more to try and con her now ex-boyfriend into some ex-sex, and to no one's surprise, it works, which, honestly, that toxic post-breakup sex do be hitting sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. Michelle, under the sort of advice of Stephanie, decides to try and damsel in distress her way into getting Grant's attention, which...
You, again.
I suppose it works. Stephanie tries to grill information out of one of Grant's friends, and through the magic of bribing, it works. Kayla manages to finesse some quick dick during lunch and dips, and now it seems like Annie and Grant are growing closer and closer throughout the film, with the latter helping her with her French. With 3 weeks left until the Morp, we get a montage of Kayla fucking, Annie studying, Stephanie stalking, and Michelle trying her best. All 4 girls end up finding themselves thirsting over Grant unanimously, as they end up at Grant's mom's party, and as a result, they have to end up having a little bit of a girl talk about it. The convo ends up being tabled, and in a very weird sequence of events involving sneaking around, blackmail, and distractions, Annie, unsurprisingly, ends up finally kissing Grant in a moment of vulnerability while trying to protect her friend, Kayla. Kayla's crazy ass exposes herself anyways and snaps a photo of the infidelity, leading to the girls bickering once more with no clear resolution on the matter. And he has a dream later that night, and suddenly this movie has a budget to do a fucking French version of Take On Me. Kinda. With 2 weeks left until the Sadie Hawkins dance, because I'm not calling it the fucking Morp anymore, Annie continues to deny her feelings for Grant and resolves to see her real love, Jason, at his college.
I'm going to have sex with the man that I love.
Yo, go get you some.
Okay. I'm so excited for you.
So while all this is going on, Michelle now is trying to find herself and where she fits in within the pact. And after seeking guidance from Principal Ellen, I think now is the perfect time to address the elephant in the room. Eugene Levy did not appear in this movie in his general role as Noah Levenstein, a man who's kind of been the backbone and linchpin of the franchise, the main connecting tissue other than members of the Stifler family. And I think that's actually not only a shame and not only a bit of a disservice to the film's credit, but it kind of makes the film almost feel non-canon, which is disappointing because I actually kind of like it, which we'll get into later. But this scene here with Michelle would have actually been a perfect opportunity to have Eugene show up, taking on a new role as a school guidance counselor, similar to the role that the Shermanator played back in band camp. I don't know why they couldn't get him, maybe because he was out here winning awards for actually good pieces of media. But, you know, it is what it is, and that's all I really have to say about it. He should have been the guidance counselor. Didn't need to be Principal Ellen, because she's the principal. Doesn't make sense, but, you know, here we are. So Michelle resolves to be open-minded for Oliver. You know, the guy who's been enthusiastically supporting her in every scene that he's in, all 2 of them. Kayla, meanwhile, comes to the realization that, obviously, she still has very, very strong feelings for Tim, her ex-boyfriend. And in a randomly emotionally raw moment for one of these fucking movies, she decides to be vulnerable and confront both Tim and her own personal feelings.
Oh, I'm popping. Annie.
Bruh, I'm about to pop. Look at her face. Imagine your IMDb roll just says Asian dental dam girl, or just dental dam girl, or just school tutor. Oh, man.
Dude, you're really an asshole.
So if you didn't see this fucking coming from a mile away, the bastard Jason is obviously cheating, because what's a sex comedy without infidelity? With his roommate still in the room, he put a sock on a door, meaning he got up, put a sock on the door, locked the door, noticed his roommate was there, and said, meh, fuck it, still gonna get my dick blown. He has his, you know, headphones on. He won't hear a thing. This man's a fucking psychopath. He's a monster. This man is a menace to society. This is the biggest villain out of any of these films. And yeah, so as a result, Annie and Jason end up breaking up, which their reasonings behind the breakup make sense. I just kind of hate the general plot line of she cheats and then he cheats and now we're here because, you know, it kind of makes it seem like the only out of a relationship for both Annie and Jason is for them to cheat rather than just being mature enough to say, hey, long distance is hard, and especially when I'm surrounded by all these new college girls. Or saying, hey, I think I'm developing feelings for someone else that's closer to me. You know, granted, it's 3 hours. It's still a fair distance, especially between college and high school and all that. But, you know, it's just the little things like that that can add a lot to the character's motivation and, you know, kind of their identity and agency within a movie, and still, you know, treating them kind of respectfully. Just doing the fucking bare minimum here, movie. So Annie makes it home, and her dad and her actually have a pretty nice moment, which I think is very much needed here. I appreciate the fact that Dad is decent enough to stop from his own personal sexual urges to go there and be supportive for his daughter when she actually needs him. Breakups suck, especially in high school. So any way a parent can support a child through that process really does help more than they can ever understand. So with 1 week left until the Sadie Hawkins dance, Stephanie decides to throw a party to try and seduce Grant one more time, and she invites the girls, but only comes to realize that Emmett, Grant's friend, actually kinda has a thing for her, and that Grant kinda has a thing for Annie. So Kayla has that wop for her, sure, and her and Tim end up making up. Michelle runs over Oliver in her car, and the two end up going to go and try and snag Annie and bring her back to the party. And just as they arrive back at the party, Jason, the ex-boyfriend, seems to be telling Grant the truth about the pact that they made.
All these little bitches competed to see who could have sex with you first. Annie texted me about it every night.
It's not what it sounds like.
Really?
We made a pact to go after what each of us were missing, and without knowing it, we all kind of decided it was you.
So as melodramatic as that moment is for the movie, Annie's still kind of right here. They made the pact before they met Grant, and even though Grant is right and, you know, valid to feel how he does, the only one really left here alone is Annie, the one he likes. So in the end, it kind of works out for him, and he kind of won.
Annie's not yours to give. You say one more disparaging word about her, this high school kid is gonna kick your ass. Just speaking my truth, bro. If she liked you as much as you thought she did, would she be driving 3 hours to have sex with me? No.
No, every person I liked in this town lied to me. And the person I liked the most chose this guy. Grant. Enjoy the party.
Please don't leave. Yeah.
Now this, how Grant is acting here, doesn't bother me. His reasoning and his judgments both make sense. His feelings are a little bit complicated, but he also stood up for Annie in that moment. So, kudos, writers. Good moment. You get another gold star. After we see that the girls actually bond over mostly completing the pact, sans Annie, but even still, she takes it kind of on a positive note from knowing that, you know, she didn't share her first time with someone that she didn't want to, which turned out, you know, wasn't Jason. Now, it's the day of the Sadie Hawkins dance. The girls are decked out in their pajamas and ready to go. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention their prom is pajama themed, because I guess it saves on budget or some shit like that. So everyone's paired up except Annie and Grant. So the gang decides to send a limo and a onesie and a message for Grant for him to decide if he's really, really willing to forgive Annie and go out for just a solid night of high school fun. And in a pretty cool moment of class solidarity, not that class solidarity, everyone turns their phones into lighters and lights a path for Grant to make his entrance, and the two share a kiss. And after a pleasant little dance montage, all the couples sneak off to give us the standard sex montage. It's actually kind of funny too, because they're all so vastly different in terms of their scenes and setup, yet they're all still in character for each one of the lead girls. Then we get the credits over a cute little dance party, which should have been the theme laid, but you know, it is what it is. And everyone's still dancing and grooving and moving, all in their own character, and having fun, and it looks like a blast. It looks like they're having a good time, which, it's a nice solid note to end a movie on. So, okay, what do I think about the movie? The whole saga finally catching up to date. Well, if I'm being honest, I think it's actually pretty good. As far as American Pie movies go. Hell, it's probably on the slightly upper rung of movies I've seen this year when compared to shit like Antebellum. Ugh. The characters in the movie are mostly likable. The narrative, despite being basically a gender swap version of the original movie, had enough to kind of make it stand out as distinct from its own in terms of motivation and, you know, what the characters are like. And for the most part, the dialogue is actually pretty realistic, aside from that weird oyster thing. And despite my complaint about promoting teen sexual promiscuity to adults, the actors still, I think, do a good job at acting and dressing as teenagers. Which, you know, that's something that's kind of rare to see on some shows. So I'm glad they're getting better and they're not too overly sexualized, but so got that scene of Stephanie at the beginning. Also, the creation and inclusion of Stephanie Stifler I thought was great. She has the same sleep with everyone, devil may care attitude as her male cousins. Sounds maybe Eric. But she also has a genuinely nice, likable friendship with the other girls. She shows growth and remorse and even appreciation for the people around her. Something that Steve couldn't even really do properly. And she actually learns the value of meaningful emotional connection with people. Someone that values her interests. As a matter of fact, she's able to have someone speak up for her and appreciate it while also standing on her own and standing up for herself. I think there is a lot of charm to the characters here. Madison Pettis makes me feel really old because I remember watching her as a kid on Cory in the House, and I went this entire review and did make one fucking Cory in the House joke. Man, amazing that somehow I didn't reference one of the greatest anime of all time. Anyways, going back to Madison Pettis, she's very much blossomed into an actress with good comedic timing, very funny comedic expressions, and serviceable amount of range in terms of what she's given with the material. Natasha and Piper's acting as Michelle and Kayla respectively weren't exactly standouts per se, but I think they did the best with, what they could work with. And they still ended up giving pretty entertaining, if not sometimes hammy performances. I also definitely noticed that if this isn't the original location from the first movie, shit, they got a really solid look-alike in my opinion. Because with how varied the spin-offs and mainlines are, you kind of forget that East Great Falls has a huge campus. So it's kind of cool to see a modern update to it. So with all that out the way, let me get into some negatives. First off, Danny Trejo. Why is he here? He serves no purpose and only has 3 lines at the janitor. Actually, strike that. I think he has 1 line the entire movie.
I'm gonna need a bigger mop.
Also, the budget for music in this movie is just clearly just not there. Damn near non-existent. Because there's 3 covers of popular songs from the 80s and 90s. And I guess they just couldn't afford to get the licensed version or rights for it. Way to go, Universal. And most of the covers are by the same small group of people, which kind of tells me how narrow the budget was that they had for this movie. And I already went in about how much it bothers me that all these teenagers, doing what you could easily do with a bunch of adults in a similar movie, if not a greater story on a college campus. But I will say, I don't think Michelle and Kayla also had strong arcs. I think that's another weakness in the movie. Michelle's conflict kind of gets rectified in just a brief dialogue sequence with the principal, which is very much, I believe, a wasted opportunity that should have been given to Noah Levenstein, as I mentioned before, replacing the role of the principal in the movie. And Michelle could have learned the value of appreciating the reality around you instead of always going hard into her fantasies, as we see with Grant and with JFK. And regarding Kayla, I don't think she learned anything in the movie. She starts the movie as this zany, self-conscious girl who states she needs a good fucking. And she never really gets that, nor changes. I think her arc should have been kind of reconciling with Tim more emotionally and learning to trust her boyfriend and be comfortable enough in her own relationship and secure to express her sexual desires. I also talked about my character issues about how that whole breakup scene was handled, and I think the last negative I have is that there's a lot of moments in the movie which, while hilarious, can kind of break the immersion. All those old ass and varied extras that were introduced at the beginning, or the sex shop workers dialogue, or Jason masturbating in a room with the roommate. What the actual fuck was that? That was so weird. Maybe he's an exhibitionist. Overall, I like this movie way more than I could have anticipated, especially considering how bad everyone said it was and how awful the trailer looked. It actually kind of has a charm to it. A surprising amount of laughs, a level of genuine effort that's always refreshing for these dumpster booty cheek movies, and solid acting, solid editing, solid pacing. Hell, there's even a few shots in the movie too that I think look pretty nice. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing another movie with these characters, but set in college this time. But please, for the love of God, just all that money you spent on Danny Trejo and Barry Bostwick as random cameos that I don't think any person under the age of 23 is going to get. Just use it and try to get Eugene Levy back, please. He's the linchpin, and the atlas to this franchise, in my opinion. And as much as I enjoy this film, it still kind of feels a little bit hollow without him. So that's it. We did it. We made it through the entire American Pie franchise as of 2020. Will they make more? Who knows? I kind of wouldn't mind seeing the films continue going from the girls' perspective, be it these girls or some new girls. Just not in a high school, please. It allows for a different perspective of the comedy. Hell, while you're at it, let's have a young female director and, some young female writers give it a shot. Stop hiring men in their 40s to write little girls. It's kind of fucking weird. And shit, if you need an actor or a younger writer, I'd be happy to pitch a couple ideas into it. But with that said and done, I want to know your thoughts. Have you seen American Pie Presents Girls Rules? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and hit that bell to be notified when I post new content. Also, while you're down there, check out my podcast, The Ace Podcast, available on all places where you find them at. Now, I've got more shows and movies focusing on young adults and sex to get back to. With that said, I'm Will the Greatest, and be great to one another. I'll see you next time.